G'day guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we are looking at some patch notes here for Total War 3 Kingdoms. So this is technically the second patch, but it's the first major patch. We've had the odd hotfix that's been in beta, and I think it was live yesterday, and now they're putting another patch into beta, which actually looks pretty good. There's some actual changes. You know, it's not just sort of like, okay, that was ruining the game for people, so let's hotfix that quickly. No, this is sort of substantial balancing and stuff. Like, nothing major, but there are some cool tweaks, so I want to talk about it. So, like I said, first major update for Total War 3 Kingdoms includes a host of tweaks, improvements, and fixes to many areas of the game, both technical and gameplay related. We're continuing to work on key game improvements, such as the campaign map stutter issue, for future updates. How to get the update? So, it is in beta, so you can't just, you know, you won't just load up the game and this will be the case. You do need to opt into it, and the reason why they do this is because it might ruin everything. Yeah, it could. You don't know. It might break everything. That's why they trial it first. They want to get the updates out as quickly as possible. The best way to do that is have people test it. And the best way to have people test it is to allow people to use it if they want to. So that way, they can get a load of feedback on it and roll it out to everybody else. So I like that they do this. I think it's really nice. It's something that CA have been doing a lot more lately. And I think it's well worth doing. You know, it really helps just sort of speed up patches, which I think is just brilliant, to be honest. I think that's a great thing for them to be doing. Because, yeah, patches can be a bit few and far between for Creative Assembly occasionally. So it is nice to see this, this sort of method delivering a lot of updates. It's very nice. So, right, so you will need to follow these instructions. I'm going to link this article in the description if you want to do that. If you can't, just read this and memorize it quickly while I'm here. So, highlights. So the update addresses a number of areas, and many of which have been reported by players. Some major areas of focus include stability, so fewer crashes. That's good. I think since I've played, I've played, I don't know, 90 hours, I think, now, something like that, and I've only had it crash twice. But my computer can handle it pretty well. Any crash is going to be down to something like really niche rather than just sort of like a performance thing. Sort of a lag spike, getting carried away and breaking everything. So, but still, only 2 crashes, which is pretty good for a new release from any studio. So, yeah, but have even less than now. Many battle AI fixes and behavioral improvements. So, yeah, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what those are, honestly. But there's been a lot of interesting things. I feel like the update that was in beta before, that has changed a lot of the battle AI and has made it less easy to exploit, which is always impressive. That's what the AI really needs to do. It needs to identify when the player is trying to screw it over and actually react to it, and it seems to be doing that a lot in 3K. If you're watching, I think tomorrow's video, maybe the day after of 3K, you'll see a great example of that. So further tweaks to vassalization rules in order to reduce Yuan Shao's vassal dominance. Yeah, he does still vassalize a lot of people. It's a little bit ridiculous. You know, his thing, it shouldn't be vassalizing. It should be forming a what's it called? Coalition. That's it. That should be his thing. But no, he just vassalizes everybody. Improved tutorialization. So, yeah, some of the advice that you get given in the tutorials is so vague, it doesn't really help you. It doesn't really direct you. It just gives you a general idea of what a screen might do, and you already know that just from the name of the screen. It doesn't really help much. So anything that could improve telling people what things do, you know, that's great. That's great, because there's a lot of new stuff in this title. So having someone actually describe that would be lovely. So, improved UI with key tooltips added. So, I like that. So, a food breakdown. So, I guess you'll be able to see where your food is going, you know, if you're selling some, if you're getting it from, you know, diplomacy. That's great. That is great. So, I like that. And better UI scaling. Okay. So, UI scaling has been something I've seen complained about a lot on larger monitors, because sometimes you have a massive monitor, like, say, 4K or something, and you want to scale the UI, so that way it looks, the screen looks as it does on a 1080p monitor, where the UI will be larger than it should be in terms of pixels, but that doesn't work, so you end up with this tiny UI on a giant monitor, so it's weird. You can have some weird things there. So, with better UI scaling, hopefully that sort of thing won't happen. You know, you can actually read everything, which is nice. Babies are more likely to be born from marriages. This is something that I am very happy to hear, because I feel like in my first 3K campaign, the Zhangjiang campaign, no children were being born from any of my married characters, so I was never getting any new characters, which was a real shame. I didn't really form a dynasty, which is a bit of a pity. But yeah, just weren't having any kids, so that's good to put that number up. UI scaling for ultra-wide monitors now works correctly, so again, just the UI scaling. Lark. Also, plenty of stuff about achievements, and some of these are quite amusing, I think. Faction Death no longer reports a campaign victory achievement, so yeah, losing the campaign doesn't tell you you've won the campaign. A bit odd. Execute Captives achievement now triggers correctly. I don't know what failed there, but anyway. An Ambush That's Sure achievement now triggers correctly and will not be awarded if the battle is delegated, so letting the computer get you an achievement is a bit cheap. The Party of 5 achievement is now correctly awarded when a character switches faction to join yours. If you can't die, Surrender achievement now triggers correctly. The 1 Arrow 2 Hawks achievement can now be gained in multiplayer campaign. Animation units should not now play their combat idle animation before withdrawing their weapon. Strategists now draw their swords at the appropriate time. Neither of these are things that I've noticed being wrong, but it's nice to see that they're fixing little animation things. That is very nice. So, balancing. This, very important, hidden axes, ammo reduced from 10 to 5. Anyone who's seen my Jiang campaign will see that I have relied on hidden axes so often in siege battles just to kill every single problem unit. They can have fire arrows as well, so I just had hidden axes walk right up to the towers and destroy them all with fire arrows. Just one volley from each, and you can destroy all the towers that you need to destroy to attack the place. And then they have plenty of ammo spare to kill a good 2 or 3 units, usually, before you move up other units, like your other archers, which, again, there'll be no towers to deal with, so they can just kill everything. It's a bit ridiculous. These guys were definitely too powerful. They could do too much damage with 0 risk, especially if the enemy was defending. And they just wouldn't run to you. They'd swap to, you know, loose formation with the unit you were shooting at sometimes, but that's about all they did to react to it. So that, I think, is a brilliant change. That is a brilliant change. My campaign would have gone a lot worse if this had been changed beforehand, but I think this is rightly so. They had way too much ammunition. They were great in melee anyway. They're a great melee unit, but all their strength was in having stalk and snipe, which was just insane. So less ammo is brilliant. I like that. Also, hit points increased by 20% for the following units: Archery Masters, Onyx Dragons, Thunders of Jianan, Defenders of Earth, and Yi Marksman. So this is interesting because Defenders of Earth, they do 1 billion damage. There's 1 billion damage. So them having more health, I think is it's a bit much. I feel like they do so much damage that they need to be a bit squishy. You need to be able to kill them quickly, because they can get like 1,000 kills. I mean, again, if you see my Jiang campaign, these guys just murder everybody. They basically have grenades on the end of arrows, and they'll just blow up unit after unit after unit. It's ridiculous. But I haven't actually really used any of these guys a whole lot in campaign. Archery Masters are Yellow Turban units. Onyx Dragons, I don't think I ever unlocked. Thunders of Jianan, I'm not sure. I'm assuming... Actually, no, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure which faction they're a part of. Yi Marksman, that's Liu Bei, I believe. So I haven't used all of these, but they all have more hit points. Hit points increased for 10% for the following ranged units: so Heavy Crossbowmen, Heavy Repeater Crossbowmen, Fury of Beihai, Mercenary Archers, Yi Archers, Men of the Forest, and Watchmen of the Peace. So yeah, all slightly better sort of ranged units. They all have a little bit more health, probably because I think most of these guys have the exact same amount of health as just standard militia archers. They have more armor and, you know, parry chance and things, but it is nice to see they'll have a little bit more health. So, change mass of medium infantry from 100 to 110. Okay, so 10% increase to their mass. I mean, I guess that makes sense, because even medium infantry, I found if you just sandwich them with lance cavalry, just everything seems to die pretty horribly and get sent flying. So a bit of extra mass might do them good. Cavalry in general, including characters, deal less collision damage. Again, yep, them just charging in, they will literally just run through units, and characters will just, like, you know, models will die around them. So less collision damage probably makes a lot of sense. Sentinels with certain relationships could achieve over 100% melee evasion. Relationship effects have been rebalanced to avoid this. So that's interesting. Over 100% melee evasion is a little bit silly. Zhang Fei and Zhang Yang's armor no longer grants fatigue immunity to their entire retinues, only themselves. That is insane to have have a bunch of units that can never tire out. That is hugely overpowered, so good. That makes a lot of sense. Them not getting tired, fine. Fine, but yeah, fatigue immunity for the whole retinue is... That's probably literally the best thing you could have in the game. If you give them all heavy cavalry, you're going to destroy army after army after army. They're never going to stop. So, that's insane. Improved He Yi and Huang Xiao's background trait effects to be more in line with their specialities and gameplay focuses. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what that entails. I'm not sure what it was beforehand, off the top of my head. And I'm not sure what they're going to be, but it's nice to see they're making tweaks to traits anyway. Just try and keep things more in line with, you know, their initial design. I like that. So siege vehicles now correctly suffer AP damage. Interesting. So I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe siege vehicles, you know, rams and such, weren't taking armor-piercing damage. They should have done. I don't know. Strange. Units in turtle formation now drag out correctly. This is something I've had a problem with quite a bit. Just certain units just would decide to be in a weird, like, spaghetti line, but backwards. So there'd be, like, 3 people at the front, then 3 people behind them, 3 people behind them, you know, back for hundreds of yards. It was very odd in turtle formation. It was a bit strange, so that's good. I'm glad they fixed that, because that was very frustrating at times. There was always just one unit would do it, if you're dragging out a few. It was strange. Defending units now have the fire at will enabled by default. Good. Good. I like that. Trebuchets now correctly damage rams. Trebuchets cannot now be damaged by standard arrows. Makes sense. They're trebuchets. Arrows aren't really going to do anything, are they? So that makes a lot of sense. Elemental Vigor ability now correctly times out and resets while General is in combat. Okay. Elemental Vigor. Is that the one that gives you incremental bonuses? I guess. So I guess if you're not in combat for a while, it'll time out correctly and then reset. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. But good to know that little tweaks being made. Battle AI. AI-controlled characters should no longer go idle in front of arrow towers. Very happy to hear that. That seems very exploitable and silly. Just having your towers kill all of the enemy heroes while they just stand there and take it. That would be silly. So yep, nice. I like that. In settlement battles, the defending AI will now target vulnerable missile units over the player's generals. Okay. Again, that makes sense. I like that. So they're going for the heavier sort of DPS units. Get rid of them easily, because they're easy to kill, you know. Until the general is dead, he's still going to be killing a lot of people. He's tough to kill, but you can kill like 20 missile units by the time it takes to kill some generals. So I like that. That is a very good idea. That is very nice. So, AI armies awaiting reinforcements should no longer stand idle under range fire. Again, brilliant. So they will rush to you if they are being bombarded. They won't wait for their reinforcements while you kill them. Clever. Clever. You know, even if it means losing a lot of men because they can't necessarily defeat your entire army on their own, it's better than just taking damage with no gain. So I like that. AI reinforcements in resource battles should now engage the player's army more effectively. Alright then. Okay, interesting. So I guess the reinforcements will rush to the defense of the town a bit better. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see how that plays out. Attacking AI armies in siege without battering rams will now more readily commit to scaling the walls, as well as exploiting breaches. So okay, so attacking armies will be more, yeah, just more violent, I guess. They'll just get in there and try and do what they can. You know, exploit the weaknesses a lot quicker, which sounds good. It means you're defending a siege, not just having a shootout for hours. So, I like that. Extreme unit size AI units now act more decisively when assaulting walls. Okay. Okay, I did notice, actually, at times, when you tell them to scale walls, they do loiter quite a lot before the ladders start going up. But, yeah, just say AI units, though. But, I'm not sure. We'll see how that works. AI armies defending small settlements should no longer sit idle in the settlement while the player is outside, forcing a draw. Okay. That's odd. That's strange. That's defending... armies defending small settlements. Surely it'd be up to the player to attack them. So, who cares if there's a draw? That's just the player choosing not to actually attack, so that seems odd. That just sounds like the AI armies are going to run out of a settlement and get killed. Rather than defend a defendable position, which seems unusual, so I'm not entirely sure under what circumstance this will trigger, but we'll see. Ranged generals should now use their bows correctly and not hold up their battle group. Alright. AI trebuchets will now use flaming shot against infantry. That is awesome. That is really cool to hear. because having flaming shots fly towards you, that's going to be very scary and exciting, and I like that. Improved AI trebuchet firing behavior, cool. Archers on walls react more decisively to threats and are less likely to break position, particularly at the battle outset. Yeah, I've noticed that as soon as you start getting anywhere near the walls, they run off. And it means you're not actually taking much damage while you're setting up the ladders or anything like that. Or even before you're at the point of setting up the ladders. But yeah, the archers do definitely run away a little bit too quickly, which means that you never really have to worry about taking too much damage as you're running in from enemy archers. Towers will still mess you up, but the archers will just wander off, which is pretty amusing. Improved AI performance pathfinding on the Nanhai Rice Paddy map. Okay, nice to know they're tweaking specific maps too. AI cavalry should now act more decisively and are less likely to break off while charging. Okay, I like that. So they're less likely to get startled if suddenly you order spearmen to intercept them or something, I imagine. So less psychic units, because psychic cavalry is a bit of a nuisance. For a while, Total War Warhammer had that problem where all of the enemy units would react immediately to literally every decision you made, and you could tell that the computer was just being psychic. But you can still exploit it. You just tell your cavalry to go next to a ranged unit rather than attack the ranged unit, and they wouldn't bother to defend it. It was really weird, but oh well. So yeah, things to address that kind of behaviour. Brilliant. AI units are now less likely to deploy on top of one another. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, blobbing up in deployment, just a bad idea, especially with trebuchets existing. Not good. AI cavalry now less likely to charge spearmen. Good, good. They shouldn't be doing that. That's dumb. So, yep, you're going to have to work to get your spearmen on AI cavalry. Or it just means you can use your spearmen defensively and the AI cavalry just going to take the long way around. So they're going to be less effective just as a result, without just committing suicide. So, good, good. Independent AI unit groups will now act more decisively and exploit settlement entry points when under threat from enemy defenses. Okay. I have no idea how this is going to play out, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Again, that's the thing with AI tweaks. It's very difficult to know exactly what that will mean a lot of the time, and how it will react. So, you know, we'll see. So AI armies will now AI armies now better coordinate with reinforcements. It says coordinates, but anyway, coordinate with reinforcements in their choice of settlement entry points. Improved coordination between multiple units in the same AI unit group. AI decision-making improved over whether to assault gates by hand. Alright, alright. Interesting. Battle art. That's right, they're even tweaking art. Reduced instances of camera clipping with barricades in deep water. So I like that. Anything that can limit camera clipping is great. By me, it really throws things off. It just immediately makes that scene look bugged, and I don't like that, so this is nice. Season flags now work correctly in farms. Okay, season flags, you say. In farms. Does that mean that occasionally farms were showing up as in the wrong season? They looked like they were the wrong season when the map loaded? I'm not sure. Not entirely sure what that refers to. Various map scenery improvements. Cool. Fix an issue where some dropped unit banners were not animating. Oh, so there'd just be a banner stuck in the ground that was stuck in its animation too, I imagine. So that's nice to know they'll keep flying, which is great. Fog reduction in Redcliffe's historical battle intro. Okie doke. I haven't actually played this historical battle yet, which is bizarre because it's supposed to be the most exciting. But anyway, I should probably do that. Battle UI. When a battle is paused in cinematic mode, the pause icon no longer displays. This is brilliant. This is the first thing I noticed, because obviously when I'm playing a game like this, I'm always zooming in and looking at stuff. So a lot of the time, when I was trying to get some cool shots for various videos I've done, you know, I wanted to get stuck in there. And just having the pause thing there was really irritating. It was really annoying. I was not a fan of that, so it's good that that's gone. I like that very much, because it was just a bit odd. Like, you know it's paused, nothing's moving. So, like, obviously it's paused. You don't have to tell me, game. So that's good. The term battle statistics in the unit details panel has been changed to unit stats for consistency. Good. Consistency, always great in any game. As soon as you describe the same thing two different ways, it's very easy to think that it's referring to something else. Even if it is slightly, you know, if it's fairly intuitive still. But consistent terminology for everything is very important. So I like that. In the custom battle lobby, the scroll window now updates to display available units when switching between different generals. This isn't something I've really played about with much, the custom battle lobby, but it is nice to know that it's going to display the correct units. You know, that's good. campaign. The Emperor's seat is now correctly moved when a capital is moved. So I guess the Emperor's seat wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't move if you said, actually our capital's over there now. You just leave the Emperor where he was, which is a bit silly. More animation variants will now trigger for delegated battles. So I like that. So if you hit delegate, you know, the whole sort of, you know, swipe, stab, throw, you know, those little animations. Bit more variety, which is nice. It's not something I really notice a huge amount, but it's nice to know that there are more variants of, available that I'm going to use. Harmony and disharmony no longer affect characters who have not yet come of age. Okay, that's good, because, yeah, suddenly having children be like, I hate you! It's like, it's just silly, it's annoying. Nope, let's get them in armies and things before this sort of thing happens. So yeah, I like that. AI factions should no longer declare emperorship as a result of the player moving their capital. Wow, that's unusual. What? Okay, move your capital and someone else decides that they're emperor. Yep, never had that problem because I never bothered to move my capital. But still, that's odd, and I'm glad they fixed that. Campaign balance. Liu Bu is now more expensive. Good, because he is an army on his own. He doesn't even need his retinue. He can kill hundreds really easily, as you guys have seen in probably your own campaigns by now, but also my Zhang campaign. He's been killing everybody. So yeah, ludicrous. He needs to have some trade-off, so more expensive will do. You know, you've got to spoil that guy. A little spoilt child that is Liu Bu. Anyway, babies are now more likely to be born from marriages. Yep, seen that already. Brilliant. Dong Zhuo's intimidation resource now decays more slowly. Okay, so I like that. I haven't played much of his campaign. I just done a few turns just to, you know, just to see it basically. But I like that, having those sort of unique resources maintain themselves a little bit longer, because sometimes you do need to pad out your turns a bit. Just waiting for replenishment and stuff like that. It can be a real nuisance if you're losing out on something, like a unique resource, when you're having to do that. So, yeah, I like that. I mean, it's already a difficult start anyway, because everyone hates Dong Zhuo. So, sure you have a big empire, but you're surrounded by enemies. So, that makes sense. Huang Xiao and He Yi's people in power bonuses now applied correctly. Cool. Campaign events. When Gongdu annexes Wudu town, settlement in turn 1, the Dong Zhuo abdication event will no longer automatically trigger. Wow, that seems odd that you could just abdicate him straight away just from annexing a town. That's strange. Alright, cool. It's good that stopped, because that sounds very silly. Dong Zhuo will no longer declare himself emperor as a result of Liu Bei capturing his first Yellow Turban settlement. Really weird. Again, that's a super weird thing to happen. Odd that they're somehow related in the code base somewhere. Gongtun Zan's battling the Qiang tribes dilemma has now been corrected to Wuhuan tribes. Okay, I see. Because yeah, they were the northern peoples who turned up, right? Sort of like not Mongols, I guess. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Gongsun Zan, he fights people in the north, right? You know, coming into China. He battles a lot, protects the border from all those raiders. So yeah, different tribe apparently. They got the wrong tribe. I mean, I don't know the difference between these two, personally. So, you know, cool. It's nice to know some history buffs have come in and gone, hey guys, you got the wrong tribe there. Can you fix that dilemma? And they've done it, so cool. It'll do. Campaign map. Clicking the zoom button on a dilemma involving a destroyed character or faction will no longer transition oh yes, the camera to a blank off-map area. This happened to me. It was weird because it seems to teleport you somewhere that you have no bearing for. You can't work out where it is or move from it. So it'd just be like looking at milk that would change shade if you started moving around or zooming in and out. So it'd just go from like, you know, just sort of milk to dark milk. And it was just this sort of murky wasteland where nothing existed. And usually it would fix itself by loading an earlier save, because an earlier save, your camera would be in the correct place. So it was really weird. I had this happen to me once. It was really weird. Really odd bug. So it's nice to know they fixed that. And it was from zooming into a character as well. So yeah, I don't know, I guess they had the coordinates for cameras, you know, positioning wrong somewhere in their code base. So that's cool. That's cool they fixed that, because that's an annoying bug. Because sometimes you do want to zoom into someone to see what the hell they're on about, and then suddenly you're in Milk World. It's odd. Anyway, campaign UI scaling for ultra-wide monitors now works correctly. Brilliant. Improved map seams along the Yellow River. I hadn't noticed their seams, but that's nice. They're still tweaking it. Commandery food total now has a tooltip detailing breakdown and modifiers. That is brilliant too. I like that. Character satisfaction icons now work correctly. Okay, I mean, I think I saw one instance of... one or two instances where it said that there was an unhappy general. Had like a little red head next to the army, and they were all on like 40 or 50 satisfaction at least. It seemed a bit weird. So I think that could be what they're referring to there. Various typos. I have noticed a couple. Border, boundary lines, tooltip display, and UI panel issues fixed. The recruitment button now works correctly when all units in the army are at full capacity. Okay, I don't know quite what the problem was with that, but cool. Soldier count in replenishing armies now updates correctly. Okay, I didn't realize that was a problem either, but that's nice to know that it'll be correct. Defeat screen now displays the load game option. Okay, I like that. So you can load an earlier save without having to finish the game, wait for it to go, you know, stab, stab, boosh, hit, okay, then go to the menu, load, right? So if you do want to load a game, you can straight away. So that's nice. That's a really good quality of life improvement for a lot of people who are caught unawares and just want to continue the campaign regardless. Grudges are now displayed on spy candidates. In the records panel, character levels will now display correctly. Okay, okay. Short campaign victory videos will no longer be played twice in campaign multiplayer when a shared mandate deal is in place. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's bizarre. So, shared mandate deal, huh? I didn't know that was a thing. Is that specific to multiplayer? If two people want to cooperate, they both become emperor, but they're happy to both be emperor? I don't know. I don't know what that is. I've never played a multiplayer campaign. I want to, though. I do want to. I think it'd be great fun. But, yeah. So it's nice to know the cutscene won't play twice. It's pretty hilarious. Court. God, there's a lot here, eh? There's a lot here. High-ranking court positions for Yellow Turban factions now correctly display their effect bundle bonuses. Cool. Kongswin's inspector positions no longer take up administrator slots. Oh, well, that seems a bit silly. So he had unique positions he could fill, but he was losing administrators for it. So suddenly, having an extra court position meant that he had fewer court positions. Doesn't really work that way. Dead characters are now grayed out in the records panel. Okay. Diplomacy. AI factions are less inclined to accept vassalage if they've recently been liberated by a vassal master. I love that. So if someone says, you're independent, they actually like that idea and want to hold on to it for a bit. Very good. AI factions are less likely to vassalize additional factions if they already have a large number of vassals. Okay, so the more vassals they have, the less likely they're going to pursue more. Which, again, that will help deal with the Yuan Chao thing, which is great. But also every faction, it just means that you won't end up with one faction using the power of his vassals to get more vassals, which would suck. It'd be very annoying. It snowballs, you know, so that's good. Improved display of positive and negative attitude toward attitude breakdowns. Okay, nice to see. Yuan Shu's demand subservience option now works correctly. I don't know how it was working incorrectly before, but it's fixed, so that's good. Deal evaluation numbers for voters are now displayed when AI factions request to join a coalition. Okay. Tooltips no longer obscure the faction list. Alright then. Factions should no longer request military support against factions you are already at war with. Yeah, good, because it seems a bit unnecessary. Rejecting a joint war offer no longer puts you into a state of war with the target belligerent. Oh, so going, I don't want to go to war, put you into war. That, yeah, I thought that might have happened to me a couple of times, but I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I'd misread something, but no, apparently that is a thing. The player can now no longer accept diplomacy deal offered during the end turn round and minimize the panel to keep the deal in a suspended state. Okay. That's unusual. I don't know quite what that was, but I guess there's some exploit people were doing that they can't do now. Ink animations for signing deals now trigger correctly. Okay, good. I like ink animations. They're good. I like it when they trigger correctly. AI now more reliably issues ultimatums against the player. Oh, interesting. I've never seen the AI issue an ultimatum to me. So that's really cool. In an alliance war where your allies have been destroyed, it is now possible to negotiate peace with the enemy alliance. Oh, that is good. That is good. I like that you can sue peace against an alliance now. Diplomatic threats now display treachery. And attitude change predictions. Yeah, that again, I like. Just the more information you can get just at a glance is amazing. And this game's generally very good at it. So the more they can do to encourage that, the more they can add there to give you all the information you need is really good. So a cancel button has been added for Quick Deal. Okay, good. That seemed a bit of a weird one in Quick Deal. I often got a bit stuck in that menu. I think I found workarounds, which I can't tell you what it was particularly, but I sort of found ways out of it. It just felt a bit cumbersome initially when I started using it. So, yeah, I like that. I like that. Remove the phrase, and allies, which sometimes showed erroneously for faction rejections when no allies are involved. Oh, fair enough. Players can no longer extort single payments in small amounts in return for nothing until the target's faction treasury is empty. Okay, that's very strange. I guess if they like you, there's always going to be a slight, you're going to get slight preferential treatment. So, you know, they will go, sort of anything you do will start on like a plus 0.4 or something. So I guess it's just 0.4 worth of money, you can get that indefinitely. And I'll just be like, yeah, here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. So that makes sense, I like that. Because it's very silly. When any type of vassalage is proposed, offers and demands of autonomy now work as intended. Okay, I'm not sure how that is, but good to know that that's being fixed. Just a lot of things changing for vassalization. The cancellation of treaties can now generate new diplomatic consequences, or treaties where it is relevant to do so. Oh, interesting. Cancellation of treaties can generate new consequences or treaties. Okay, can't wait to see what the hell this means. Food output has been added as a criteria for AI factions when they evaluate a region, removing a food gameplay exploit. Okay. So does that mean that you could basically go, oh guys, take my regional city, it's undefended, and then they run out of food, and you could besiege everything and they'd all die of starvation if you starved them out immediately because they'd run out their reserves. Is that it? Is that what you could do before? Because that's gone now, so that's nice. So it looks like they will actually go, I don't have the food for this place, so they won't take it. Which I like. I like. It'll make more interesting conquest for the enemy, I think. And they won't screw themselves over. Transitioning a coalition to a military alliance shortly after forming the coalition no longer incurs treachery. Okay, that's nice, because it's weird that treachery would always happen, because you broke your coalition promises, but they were your military allies. You know, it's mutually beneficial. You're not stabbing them in the back by being firmer friends. So I like that. Treachery for things like that make very little sense. One thing that sadly doesn't seem to have been fixed is people attacking your vassal, because often you'd be in a position where you had a vassal and you had an agreement with someone who declared war on your vassal. If you defended your vassal, it would count as a treacherous action to break that agreement with the attacking faction. It doesn't say that in this patch notes, so I'm not sure if that has been changed. There's been a lot of stuff about vassals. That still makes you treacherous, defending your vassal against someone who, for some reason, thinks that the non-aggression pact doesn't extend to your subservience, right? So anyway, we'll see if that gets fixed at some point. Mid-distance trees now cast shadows correctly. Good, I like that. Attrition VFX now correctly adjust to face the camera. Okay. Improved edge blending between terrain and objects. So a few little graphic tweaks, which seem, you know, like improvements. Multiplayer spectators can now no longer meddle with duels in multiplayer matches. Oh yeah, there's I think I saw that. If two people are dueling and someone is spectating, they can click run away, I think. They can click run away to make one of the generals run off and lose the duel. Pardon me, which is hilarious. I think that's really funny. I think that's hilarious. Obviously, shouldn't be in the game, but it was fun while it lasted. Improved multiplayer battle lobby filtering. Opposing AI armies and generals now visible to host in multiplayer battles. Element filter added for character classes in custom and multiplayer battles. Stability. 24 individual crash scenarios have been found and fixed. That is amazing. 24 crashes have been removed. That is so good. And here, fixed clash between Matang and Gongdu starting positions. Tutorials amended accordingly. And loaded a previous save. Loading a previous save now no longer breaks the tutorial. Oh, interesting. That's an odd thing. So yeah, plenty of changes in this patch, and it all seems really promising. A lot of them are fixes for, you know, some quite minor things, but, I mean, God, just that, though. This alone, down here, just 24 individual crash scenarios. 24 reasons the game could crash are now gone, and that is huge. I mean, it's an incredibly stable game for a new release. I was very impressed by how well it's been running, so that is great to see they are continuing to tighten that up. But yeah, hidden axes with less ammunition I think is brilliant. Bit of extra armor for some of the ranged guys, for the more elite ranged units. Yeah, I think this is a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in here, so I can't wait to see everyone's thoughts on it and to see, yeah, what they're gonna deal with next. It's gonna be cool to see. So yeah, everyone keep reporting bugs you find to Creative Assembly, because you know it all helps them prioritize what needs tweaking and fixing and whatever. So be sure to keep giving them any feedback, especially if you're playing with the beta and things are acting very strangely. You'll know why. So yeah, if you want to opt into the beta, there are instructions in this article, which is linked in the comments to this video. So guys, if you enjoyed this, I certainly hope it was maybe not entertaining, but very informative. Yeah, that's the hope. I hope you learned something, and hope you make up your mind whether you want this patch now or whether you want to wait. But yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. So, have a good day, guys.